Walls continue to close in on Sean Diddy Combs. Federal investigators preparing to bring more accusers in before a federal grand jury in New York City. This is different than what we had seen a little bit more than a month ago when they raided his properties into the trafficking allegations. This is another layer to it. Now they could very easily work hand in hand, but with all the allegations and the civil suits have come against him and the video footage that they have obtained out of his home, saying that is a big part in this too. There's a lot of people they want to talk to. Joining me to discuss, host of the podcast Defense Diaries, Bob Motta. Bob, where do you think this is going? Are Diddy's days of freedom getting numbered very quickly?
I think Diddy is on the verge of being flame thrown by the federal government. His days are done. The only in terms of who he was
Mm-hmm.
is this mega mogul music producer are over.
Yeah.
He his reputation is destroyed no matter which way this thing ends up.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of the legal side of it, he's in deep shit. The feds do not play. Like, we've had this discussion
Yeah.
before. They're super diligent. They're in no rush to build their case, and that's exactly what they're going to do. And he just happens to be a very public figure, because usually it's under cover of darkness with the feds. They
Mm-hmm.
build their case over year, 2 years, because when the federal government comes at you, when a U.S. attorney comes after you, they usually have ironclad cases that are much different than your typical state cases, where
Mm-hmm.
you just have kind of run of the mill prosecutors that are moving forward on cases. They obviously have a much bigger volume in state cases than they do in fed cases. And they don't have the resources of the FBI
Yeah.
at their disposal. So, when they come at people with cases, that's why a vast majority of federal stuff, and when I'm saying a vast majority of it, their conviction rate's like 97 and up,
Mm-hmm.
97%. They get convictions, and most people plead out
Yeah.
because the sentencing guidelines for the federal sentencing guidelines are, you'll get hammered with them,
Sure.
it just behooves you to work with the government, because if you don't, the downside is massive,
Mm-hmm.
and they built the sentencing guideline like that. So ultimately, whatever case they're going to build against him, and I can only speculate as to what it could be. I
Yeah.
mean, it's got so many tentacles at this
That's
point.
that's the question. What do you think they're going to try and get out of these witnesses, and victims potentially here of Diddy with the federal grand jury?
I think it's very much connected to sex trafficking.
Yeah.
I really do. I think this goes hand in hand with the raid. I think that there's potentially a RICO case here. I think
Mm-hmm.
that there's, just I think that they're looking at him as a sex trafficker,
Yeah.
that he was using his power and his money in much the same way that Epstein was alleged to have done, and he was doing the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's where I'm thinking it's going. I
Yeah.
mean, I could be dead wrong on it, but it's got that vibe to it. I mean, what else can it be?
Well,
I mean,
exactly.
it can't be like a tax thing, right?
Yeah.
This isn't like tax evasion. This has a much more nefarious feel to it. Like, tax evasion is what they go after dudes that they've been going after forever
Mm-hmm.
and can't get, like mob
Yeah.
bosses. You always see mob bosses used to go down on tax evasion charges because they couldn't get them on anything else. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you have to have the evidence.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's going to be really interesting, but like the Diddy that everyone knew, and whether you loved him or hated him during his heyday, that's done.
Yeah.
Like, there's no recovering from this. There's no recovering from that video of him beating
No.
that woman in the hallway of the hotel, man. There's no.
Yeah, although I did make the point earlier on another interview, I said, R. Kelly was able to still have a successful career after being filmed raping a 14-year-old in front of Soul Train Awards at his house in Chicago. and,
Yeah, that's
and
true.
still had a
Until he
string of
didn't.
hits.
until he didn't,
Until he
you
didn't,
know, it's
yeah,
but yeah, no, point well taken. He did continue to make a lot of money after
yeah,
that came out, but it caught up to him,
yeah,
and like Diddy was way more powerful than R. Kelly, like in the scope of things. I
sure.
mean, this guy was like a kingmaker.
Hmm.
He had that type of money and that
Yeah,
type of power in that industry to where, I mean, like he had scary type of power and scary type of money to
yeah.
where you like this shit could be
You
like
feel for your life
deep.
if you cross him, I would imagine. I mean, and
Yeah,
the fact that he and I the fact that he always adamantly denied anything was ever wrong, that all these people are going after him for money and it's this and it's that and I'm wonderful, love, peace, whatever. And then the video drops. And then suddenly complete 180. Sorry, I did this. It was the lowest point in my life. And it just happens that like everything in that video matches up perfectly to what Cassie testified to in the civil suit.
yep.
It pretty much gives him no credibility to anything that he's ever said. Should he have just for the well-being of everyone, I'm glad he put the video out. But if he's looking at self-preservation, was that video a bad idea? Because it doesn't help his credibility at all. Nobody, I think, really feels bad for him or that he's truly sorry. It just kind of like reconfirms that all these allegations we keep hearing are probably pretty true.
Oh, I think it was a terrible idea. I
Yeah.
like the concept was that he was trying to get in front of it. It
Yeah.
was coming out whether he liked
Late.
it or not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The only thing that he's sorry about is he got caught.
Hmm. Yes.
That's the only thing he's sorry about. Like none of that was genuine. Do you really think that he gives a shit? I don't think that he gives a shit.
Not a
He doesn't give
tear
a shit.
shed in that video.
Yeah,
No.
like, I don't think he went back to his room and was punishing himself. Like everything he said was bullshit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I gave it no weight.
Hmm.
I don't think that it helped move the needle for him in terms of him becoming an empathetic figure at all.
No.
It made him look like a giant abusive piece of shit
Hmm.
that had way too much money and power and
Yeah.
abused the hell out of both of them. That's the way I feel about it. And I love when I see like dudes that have that type of money that choose to do nothing useful with it that can like better the world.
Hmm.
I love to see them tumble.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really do.
Mm, yeah.
It's one thing if you've got that kind of money and you're trying to use it for good.
Yeah.
It's another thing when you're using it to be a shit bag. And that's what that dude did, man. And good riddance as far as I'm concerned.
I agree. It is coming back to bite him. Hey, thanks for checking out the video. Be sure to follow us wherever you download podcasts, and especially Apple Podcasts, where you can get advanced episode and premium content on our premium channel right there. Also, be sure to follow us on social media so you don't miss any breaking updates on the stories that matter to you most. We're on TikTok, X, Instagram, Facebook. Just search Hidden Killers Podcast with Tony Brueski, and you'll find us right there. Again, thanks for watching.